Welcome back to another episode of the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. And we welcome back our friend, Joe Pops, aka Joey Props. He is back again for futures. But before we do that, Jay is going to bring you a very special announcement from the Get Back Coach.
Yeah, we got big news on this edition of the Get Back Coach. Joe, it's fitting that you're on the show for this announcement, given you are a recurring guest, friend of the show, friend of the pod, and probably our biggest supporter in the podcasting business. Kind of set this whole thing up, but I want to go ahead and dive into it. So we have secured our first sponsor for the Get Back Coach this college football season. We are teaming up with BattleBets to bring a fun new way to test your college football knowledge against your friends, bringing that to fans of the sport of college football. You're probably asking, what is BattleBets? So this is fantasy betting exclusively for college football. That's right. It's college football special. Create leagues with your friends. Place bets on college football each week with fake money. You got spreads, you got over-unders, you got money lines. They even got props that are going to be part of this new way to experience college football. You can track your bets and earn points throughout the season to win those leagues. So how can you participate? Download the app on the Apple Store. We don't have you yet, Android users, but we're working on it. Download on the Apple Store. Sign up for free. Let BattleBets know that we sent you by selecting the Get Back Coach. There will be a little ambassador section where you can select us as the referrer. And we'll also be hosting our own league. And if we get enough people to sign up for BattleBets, we may even send out a little bit of prize money. Again, this is 100% free. You can join our league starting week 1. So not 0 week, but week 1. And you can also create your own leagues, challenge your friends, play for money or don't. Again, the app itself is 100% free to sign up. So join the BattleBets Get Back Coach League today.
Awesome.
We did it. First ad.
We did it. Love it.
Nailed it.
Thank you to our friends at BattleBets. Really fired up. And we have our own league, right, Jay? Set up?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
And again, if we get enough people to sign up, there could be some prizes in the wins, because if you sign up, we get paid. Right?
Yes.
And that's how that works. So if we get paid, we have money to give to the winner of the Get Back Coach League. It's a win-win for everyone. I think this is, I'm really excited about it. It just seems like a really fun way to show that you know ball more than your friends.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to do that?
Right. Exactly. And you get to take a little bit of a risk responsibly.
Yes. You're gambling the ultimate responsibility. Yeah, because there's no money. Unless you want there to be. That's on the side.
That's side stuff. So here we go. Week 0 is upon us, but before we talk about week 0, we have to talk about something that took place at the tail end of last week. Michigan sanctions. Michigan has been sanctioned by the NCAA, and who better to have than Joe Pops on here, who loves Michigan men. So the financial penalties, $50,000 plus 10% of its budget for football to the NCAA. Fine is equivalent to anticipated losses of postseason revenue sharing during the 2025-2026 season, and an equivalent cost of 10% of all football scholarships for the 2020 or 25-26 season. Sharon Moore will be suspended for a game, and then I believe another game in the future. Denard Robinson, I believe, is suspended, and then Jim Harbaugh has a show cause. Meaning, if he wants to try and coach in college again, spoiler alert, he won't. Whoever hires him has to then say, this is why we are hiring him. I believe Sharon Moore also has a show cause, and I think Denard Robinson does as well. Joe, to you, what do you think of these sanctions?
I mean, first off, thanks for having me, guys. Always good to be back. I always enjoy opening and closing the season with you guys. I mean, this is just sad and pathetic. If you're a big time school out there, the message was sent clear as day: cheat, just cheat. Because listen, they don't vacate wins. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't mean anything. We all saw them raise the trophy. They had a great team. They won it. Yada yada yada. But a 1-year postseason ban at least should be in place or something. A show clause for Harbaugh. You're right. He's never going to coach again. I think it would be up when he's 73. Connor Stallion's got an 8-year show clause. He should be banned for life. That's insane that they haven't banned him for life. But how do you not? I mean, just a 1 year. They should at 1 year at least. They should be. Hey, you guys can't. You're out of the postseason or something. Anything besides like, hey, give us a little bit of money, and you guys who don't care are never going to coach again. And, Trumore, you can't coach the Western Michigan game. Like, ooh, it's just all.
I think it's
sad,
New Mexico. I think it's
whatever it is. It's a walkover game. The whole thing is just sad and pathetic. And honestly, it just makes sense for such a vile, disgusting program like Michigan.
Strong feelings from Joe.
Yeah.
I may not take as severe a approach to it, but I also agree. I mean, it just kind of shows you the lack of teeth for the NCAA as the governing body of college football. Nobody really respects their authority in the sport. Let's just be honest with that. It's been going on for a long time and is going to continue to erode any shred of NCAA credibility when it comes to punishing these programs. I agree with Joe. I think a postseason ban should be on the table. You're never going to be able to take away the fact that Michigan won a national championship. Like you can't take that feeling away from people. They're always going to have it. It's like Louisville with I think it was 2014 basketball NCAA championship. Like you're still going to claim that. Mm-hmm. Even if the schools like aren't allowed to claim it, like you're never taking that away from the fans. I think a postseason ban is a real punishment. The one thing that I will say though is with college football, it's such a unique aspect of the fact that these players are only in the program for a little bit, and sometimes it does get to the point where it feels like you're punishing the current players for something they had absolutely nothing to do with, which I think does make it a little bit trickier. But listen, if you're the NCAA, you got to figure out a way to do it somehow. I also like completely echoing that Connor Stallion should be banned from football. Give him the Pete Rose treatment, or
how is he not
the Chicago Black Sox? Like it's wild.
That's the area that I think is missing here. Stallion should be banned 100%. What he did was illegal. And I don't believe in vacating the wins, especially the national title, because they won the national title fair and square. Okay. And I hate to say it. But I believe that they did. They were caught beforehand. But yeah, Stallions need to be banned. And the other thing is, I don't know, I lost my train of thought thinking of all this. Yeah, Stallions needs to be banned. That's my big takeaway.
And I think too, if you're Connor Stallions, you'd gladly take a lifetime ban. Like no one's going to touch him ever again. The only program that ever would touch him again is Michigan, and they're never going to hire him, and they won't be allowed to. But you figure, if I were in his shoes, if you told me that I could help Michigan State win a national title by any means necessary, and then go out on my sword and essentially die as a folklore legend of Michigan State football that every Michigan State fan is looking up to me, sign me up every day. I'll get a job somewhere else. Some Michigan State alumni will hire me and be like, come on over. So everybody wins.
I would put myself on any no-fly list for any airline around the country. I would revoke my rights to travel. I would wear an ankle bracelet if it meant Texas A&M won a national championship.
Yeah, and you would drink for free anytime you're anywhere even remotely close to A&M's campus.
Did anyone watch the Netflix documentary that they did on him?
I have not yet.
Yeah. I did, and as I'm watching it, I was about halfway through, and I'm like, in a different universe, this could have been me. Like,
I can see that.
I was like, low level coach, learning to steal signs,
Dude, the
doing it
going
with the program,
undercover to do it was the wild part.
sleeping in the car type thing. Like
You would break the law for James Franklin. I know that for a fact.
It depends on what law.
Yeah, it depends on what law. And for Penn State to win a national title, I would 100% steal signs. I would do whatever.
White collar crimes for sure.
I would have done anything for Mark D'Antonio to win a title. Literally anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, and I just, my train of thought before, if you give Michigan a bowl ban for a year or two, guess what? They're probably not making a post. They're probably not making the playoff this year or next year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be close this year.
I think
they'll be right on the outside, but
I don't think you're actually giving up anything. And here, even if you say no bowl game, do players? I don't know. Like, is it going to be that big of a deal?
No, I don't think. I think if anything, if you're going to say to them, okay, we're not going to give you a postseason ban, then it shouldn't be 10% of the money. It should be all of the money. It should be you should be ineligible of making any money for the postseason for 1 year or 2 years or what have you. Mm-hmm. And you can play in it, you can compete, you can win a national title.
You can't make money off it.
You're not going to make any money off of it. That to me seems somewhat fair, except for 10%. It's like, dude, what are we talking about?
Because that's not hurting the players, that's hurting the program.
Yes.
Everyone gets to stay. You get to still compete. Joe, look at you. You're Joe Pops.
We're putting together a cabinet to run college football.
College football commissioner right there.
We're assembling a team.
Yeah.
Our mightiest heroes for college football.
All right. Next up on the agenda here. It's a game that I think we're going to play for at least a little while longer. And that is, who's going to win the Pac-2? Washington State or Oregon State? I will like to start this off. I have Oregon State beating Wazoo in the Pac-2 here. 60% of the production coming back. Really like Trent Walker at receiver. Also, Malik Murphy is going to be the quarterback there. I also think Oregon State has a little bit more going on resources-wise. Wazoo lost their coach. Do like Jimmy Rogers, but I like Beavers getting the edge in the Pac-2. Joe Pops, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the same thing. I like Malik Murphy coming over from Duke. They got that other tight end from Miami coming over, and was Williams, and then another one, Jackson Bowers from BYU. I like everything they have going on there. I think right now when you look at the over-unders, I think they're like 1 game better projected right now. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be tight, but I like them to beat Washington, and I like them to finish better at the end of the season. Their schedule just has way more winnable games than Washington State. Washington State's schedule is a little bit tougher from top to bottom.
Mm. Yeah. And I mean, I can't really add too much on. I think Washington State just lost a lot more, and Oregon State brings stuff back. Plus the resources, where I think Oregon State's in a lot better shape. I think Washington State financially is in a little bit of trouble. Love the hire of Jimmy Rogers. I think that's a brilliant move. I just don't think we see the results in year one. I think it's going to be Oregon State. I mean, they play each other twice, right? So probably Oregon State winning both of those matchups.
Two times in 3 weeks, right?
Yes, I think they play, and then I think there's a game in between, and then they play again.
Yeah.
I think that last game is going to be for bowl eligibility for Washington State.
I think so too.
I think they're going to need that last one, and I think it's at. I could double check that, but I believe the last game is at Oregon State. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's going to be at Corvallis. So it's going to be Washington State, Oregon State on November 1st, and then they'll play again on November 29th. It's actually reversed. The last game's in Pullman, and I think Wazoo's going to be playing for bowl eligibility in Pullman. So I think you're going to have some extra spice there for that final matchup.
Yeah, plus 2 teams playing each other twice. There's probably going to be some carryover and emotions into that second game. So definitely going to be something to watch.
Oh, definitely. And Let's go over to the independent scene for a little bit. And no, we're not going to go straight into the one everyone thinks. We got to talk about UConn for a second because, Jay, people forget UConn 9-4 last year for the Huskies. So, Jay, do the Huskies build off this, or do they take the step back?
They'll take a step back, in my opinion. I just think you look at the schedule. There's some challenging games in there. Not like an overly challenging schedule, but I think they take a step back. I just think it's going to be hard to replicate that. They lose some pieces, get a little bit returning. Cam Edwards, obviously a big piece for the Huskies. And I think it's commendable what Jim Moore Jr. has done up there. Like, he's done a great job. There's only so much you can do at UConn in an independent setting, right? Like, you're not in a conference, you don't have stuff to build off of there. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a tougher year. They might still get 6-6. Will that get them to a bowl? I don't know, especially with them having to go through some extra hoops. They don't have the automatic bowl tie-in, which kind of hurts that program. But a step back is what I'm seeing for UConn this year.
Yeah. Joe, the over-under is set at 7.5. What are you thinking for the Huskies?
Yeah, I'm taking the under. I kind of agree with Jay here. The issue is, especially with UConn and being that independent, they're going to be a leapfrog school for a lot of these kids. So I think they lost a ton. They brought in a ton, 26 transfers, which is great, but it takes some time to get those guys in the system and really like acclimated to it. So I just think this is going to be, I think 8 wins for them this year would be a win.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be a huge win. I think they go 6-6. I do think they go bowling again, which I think for UConn, that's huge. If you're keep going bowling, that's going to at least keep the basketball folks occupied.
Yeah. But again, they need a little bit of help to get there without the automatic bowl tie-in. So
that is true.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. And now the independent school that probably the majority of the people listening are waiting for. Joe, we led off the episode with one of your favorite teams, Michigan, and now here's your other favorite team, Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish. What's going to happen with the Fighting Irish today?
They're going to go to the playoffs. Their schedule outside of the first 2 games at Miami, home against A&M. After that, it's going to be kind of a cakewalk for them. I'll say this. I don't have the odds in front of me right now, but I think last time I looked, the odds of them to make the playoffs were like minus 170 or something like that. If they win the first game in Miami, those odds are going to drop to like minus 500. They're just going to be a shoo-in. I say if you're looking to bet for them to make the playoffs, I think that they're going to walk right in. Have they announced if it's going to be Carr or not yet as the starter?
No, it's not. They didn't announce anything yet. I'm forgetting his name because the guy who people think was kind of the dark horse, Minchie.
Kenny Minchie? Yeah.
Minchie. I think that's who people think. I don't believe
keep seeing back and forth that they just keep going, but they can't decide. I think the last report I saw was like this morning that they still hadn't named anybody yet.
As of right now, I believe Minchie has the edge.
Well, what we do know about Notre Dame's offense is they're going to have one of the best backs in the country in Jeremiah Love, who is an electric player, really fun to watch. Can't wait to see what he does this year. Hopefully every game except week 3 against A&M.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the best, running back duos in the country with Love and Price. Their offense should be decent. I think what they're doing on the offensive line, I think they're going to reload. And their defense is really good. I really love their safety, Adon Schuler. I think he's going to be one of the best safeties in college football this year outside of Caleb Downs. Listen, Notre Dame's good, and I think what also helps Notre Dame this year, and not usually, but they got to play Miami and they got to play A&M. That's not a hard task. That's not an easy task. But they don't have to play that Ohio State, Texas, Alabama. Like they don't have to play someone on that top echelon. But Miami, A&M, nothing to sneeze at. You got to bring your A game, or you're
And
going to
Boise
get
State
beat.
in there too.
And Boise State in there too.
Boise State's in there. They'll roll Boise. I think where they're going to trip up is going to be they're going to like lose a surprise one like at Arkansas or home against Syracuse. A little revenge for the quarterback they just shipped out who went to Syracuse. They just named him the starter today. I like Syracuse a ton. I wouldn't be shocked. Freeman always seems to drop one game a year that he shouldn't. I like one of those two games for Notre Dame to drop.
Like Northern Illinois.
Yes.
Joe, good thing you're sitting down because I think the big trap game is Pitt. I think Pitt. I think Pitt can do it. I'm a little higher on Pitt than I usually am, and Eli Holstein is a mobile quarterback.
He's a mobile quarterback.
And I think that can give Notre Dame fits. It's going to be that trap game of, oh, well, Notre Dame should handle them. Don't matter if it's in Pitt or not. I'm telling you, I think there's a shot there. Narduzzi, sometimes he loses boneheaded ways, but sometimes he beats teams that has no business beating.
You know what?
Clemson.
Pitt right there on the road, right there, smacked in between Navy and Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
That is a trap spot.
Do they play Navy first?
Yes, Navy, and then the week.
So you have to worry about playing an option team.
Come on, let's go. Let's jump on the wagon.
You might be onto something.
I'm telling you.
I will say too, with this Notre Dame team, this to me feels like classic Notre Dame of the last like decade and a half, where they're going to get in with 11, 10 wins, and then they're going to get outclassed. Like it feels like I think they're going to be really good next year. It seems like from everything that they're talking about in terms of like their younger talent. But this just feels like they're going to get in and get outclassed by a better team.
I mean, we will see. This is a playoff team, though. 100%.
100%.
This team, and this team is good. This team is good. They're going to deserve that playoff spot. I just would love to see them play one of those top teams
conference?
in the SEC. Well, almost like in a conference. Yeah, I would love to see them play Clemson this year because they have that ACC tie-in. I'd love to see them play Clemson this year, just to kind of see where both those teams kind of stack up going in.
You had mentioned real quick. You had mentioned Clemson on Twitter, and I said, let's save that for the futures. Let's save that.
That for the futures or predictions towards the end.
Remind me to come back to Clemson.
Okay.
I don't want to knock the train.
Well, let's talk. Well, Joe, let's talk about your futures.
Let's talk about
your futures. Who do you got right now?
Well, let's start with Clemson. Yeah. I love this Clemson team. I think Klubnik is going to take a huge step forward. He's got two of the top 15, top 20 wide receivers in Williams and Wesco. The defense is going to be elite. I love this Clemson team. Absolutely love them. I have them winning the ACC. That's like plus 110. So I think it's pretty much a shoo-in for them, which, by the way, the ACC, the bottom half of the ACC is garbage. And I think that a lot of teams it's going to be seesaw, just up here and then totally down here. But I love this Clemson team. 11-1 right now to win the national title. Here's what I did, and here's what I would recommend. It's not gambling advice. This is just what I did. I bet on Clemson to win the whole thing, 11-1, because what's going to happen is they open against LSU. If they beat LSU, which I think that they will, because I think that LSU's biggest problem is going to be LSU's problem the last couple of years. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to give up a lot of points. And I think
Nussmeier may be banged up a little bit too.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Season,
so I just think every game for LSU is going to be like, can we get one or two stops? And I think Clemson will be able to get those stops. Once Clemson beats LSU, that 11-1 is going to drop to 6-1, 7-1, something like that. I almost guarantee that Clemson's going to get in the playoffs. So if you can get in at 11-1, even if you cash out in the beginning of the playoffs, you're probably going to make a profit because at the time playoffs start, they're going to be like plus 400. So I love Clemson 11-1. I think the value there is off the charts.
Oh, well, see, I was under the impression you had like the opposite take because I'm all like Clemson over 9.5, I think is
it's a gimme.
No brainer. Take it today when you can. I love this Clemson team. I think this Clemson team is going to be in the Final Four.
Yeah. We'll save that for the predictions.
Yeah, we'll save that for predictions. But Joe, what anything else you got in your bag of tricks?
In terms of Heisman, I think it's going to be a lot of the guys at the top. Everything coming out about Arch is that he looks incredible. 7-1. I think the Heisman race is going to be super wide open. Like I said, I love Klubnik. I think he's going to be there in New York. I don't think he's going to win it. I think if you want a little bit of a reach, I think he's like right now like 18-1, 17-1. I love Sellers. So if he can do what he does, and he's like your prototypical college quarterback. If he can stay upright, he's going to put up a lot of numbers, a lot of really exciting games. And if they can get a couple extra wins, even though I do kind of think that they're going to go under their win total, but if he can get into a bowl game and it's very clearly he's carrying that team, I think he has a chance to be in New York and win it, especially at 17-1 odds. It's really tough to beat.
Sellers Klubnik at the end of the season going to be a fun QB matchup to close out the year.
Good one.
Yeah,
real good one.
Yeah,
and then another one real quick that I love is in the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to be wide open. There's about like 6 schools that can win it. I can't look away from Arizona State. Arizona State to win the Big 12 plus 600. I love it. I don't know. I think the value's there. When you have Sam Leavitt still under center, I think that's enough in that conference to kind of carry you at least to the game. I just saw Texas.
That's just to make it. That's just to make it.
No, to win it.
Oh,
they got to win it. Plus 600. But I like them to get there. Here's what I did. Texas Tech, I really love this year. I love this team. I just saw their running back went down, the guy that they had just gotten from USC. I like Texas Tech. I love Arizona State. I think one, if not both of them, are going to be in the Big 12 championship. For either team to make it to the playoff, plus 470, I played both of them. And if both of them make it to the championship, you're basically guaranteed a plus 370 hit on if you're putting one unit on either one. So just a little, put it out there. Just a little taste.
Jay, what do you have future-wise?
Oh, man. Well, I think one that you've kind of sold me on, and I'm probably still in your thunder a little bit here, but from last week with the group of 5 guys, Middle Tennessee over 4.5.
Hammer.
I feel like is just an absolute lock. Maybe you sold me on that. The other thing I'm going to talk about is, and this is going to be a homer pick. I'm just going to be 100% honest.
Do it.
A&M 7.5. I feel like A&M will get to 8 wins. Like I feel like the whole Texas 8-4 thing. Yes, it's not the greatest moniker to have, but 8 wins has almost felt like a guarantee for the past few years. So I like Texas A&M over 7.5 as well.
Love it. Listen, I love your A&M pick. I love Middle Tennessee State over 4.5. My last future to share, Boise State over 9.5 wins. I think this Boise State team can be better than the one last year. I know Ashton Genty's gone. I think their pass rush is going to improve. Madsen's going to improve. I really like Boise State over 9.5. Take it. All right. Now,
I like it.
Let's move on.
Can I give you one more?
Oh, Joe, yes, of course.
Sorry. Hold on. I'm all frozen. One more. And that is the second year coaching bump. You also have a 5-star quarterback getting ready to take the leap. Michigan State over 5.5. They're getting back to a bowl game. They're going to start 3-0. They just need to go 3-6 in their last 9. Go to USC. They're going to win that game. They're going to beat UCLA. They're going to beat Indiana and Minnesota and Maryland at the end of the year. Michigan State over 5.5.
Beautiful. We do have a couple Sparty listeners, so I'm sure they will be very excited to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Jeff from Eyes on Big was pretty high on Michigan State possibly being a surprise team as well. So definitely going to be one we keep an eye on. I do think that second year coaching bump is going to be something to watch out for if you're a Big Ten team, especially in the second half of the year.
Yeah, I like Jonathan Smith. Yeah. I think Jonathan Smith, that was a great hire. And again, for Penn State going into East Lansing towards the end of the year, it could get dicey.
Land grant, baby.
For the land grant with the most beautiful trophy there is. Week 0 is upon us, and we will be starting college football with Farmageddon. This sucks. This game's in Ireland.
No.
I'm sorry. And I know they're like, oh, the farming schools going to Ireland, known for just put it on campus.
Yeah. Jake, I've been watching Dairy Girl, so I'm going to give my attempt at a Dairy accent for this.
Okay.
And the thing of it is, nope, can't do it. I get Dublin. All I can do is my Conor McGregor impersonation, and that has aged so poorly.
So bad.
That's a bad
so
bad.
But it used to be so good. I had my trio, and that was one of the peaks, and he's just kind of become an absolute piece of shit, for lack of a better term. Not that you expect professional fighters to be good people, but you got to have a line somewhere. But yeah, Farmageddon in Ireland. Agree, Jake. We have to play these games on campus. With that being said, it's really cool to kick off the season with a ranked versus ranked Big 12 matchup. These are going to be two very physical teams. Kansas State's -3.5. This could very well end up deciding who goes to the Big 12 championship, because I think Iowa State's one of those 6 teams that Joe mentioned that could very well put together a run and end up in Arlington at the end of the season. With that being said, I love Kansas State this year. I think Avery at quarterback is going to take a step forward. I think they're going to, what Kansas State is. Their identity has not changed, even with Snyder gone. Like, it's still a hyper physical team. If anything, I think they've gotten even more physical, right? So we'll see what happens over there. There's a lot of variables with going overseas to play a game. I think that can shake up quite a bit. But I like Kansas State -3.5 here.
Joe.
So I like Iowa State plus the 3.5. I think, to everything Jay just said, I think that this is going to be a very physical game. When these teams do go overseas and play, typically the under is always hitting. So I think you're looking at a low scoring 1-score game. I love Rocco. I think everything he's got going on for that team, and like, he instills a level of confidence on our center that they haven't had in quite a bit. I like them to cover. I wouldn't be shocked if they win, but no matter what, I think you're looking at a really, really good Big Ten game to start the year where we're all excited, and it's 7-3 at half.
Ooh.
My kind of game.
Yeah. Man, I really like Iowa State, but I don't know, something's calling me to Kansas State. And I just think that Iowa State is going to have to work out some new faces on defense early. And I think that is going to be the difference maker here. They are known – Iowa State's known for their defense, but if you're working that many new faces early, I think that's going to have some time to gel. I think Kansas State, like Jay said, a little bit more complete. They know what they are going to be, and I think Kansas State does win this early in the year. So I like Cats -3.5. However, if they play towards the end of the year, I think Iowa State would beat them. But first game, I like Cats to cover 3.5.
Well, listen, we're going to settle this at Battle Bets anyway, early in the season.
Exactly.
So
Hey.
let's just lay it down right now.
There we go.
There it is. You have to. And remember, when you do that, go to ambassadors and say the Get Back Coach sent you.
Yeah.
Next up, Fresno State at Kansas -12. First game of the Matt Entz era at Fresno in the Valley, or it's at Kansas, but for him, he's at the Valley for the first time. Joe, have you looked at this game at all?
So yeah, you know what's so weird? -12 is such an awkward number, but it's one that screams take it. So I'm gonna lay the 12 here. Early on, I think you're looking at the much better team here. So I'm laying the 12, even though I feel like it's such an awkward number that if it was like 11, I'd feel even less comfortable with the number because it just is closer to that 10. But 12 tells me we take it.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, Jalen Daniels bounce back year. Didn't have the year that people expected him to have last year. I like Kansas. A -12 for sure.
I hate that we're all on the same side here. Kansas -12. I think Fresno State is going to get I think it's going to be close in the first quarter, but I think Kansas is just going to wear them down. Jalen Daniels too, going to wear them down, and I think Kansas wins. And listen, I was listening to the College Experience too. We had Money Mac on. They're pretty high on Kansas kind of being a dark horse to kind of make a run at the Big 12. So I like that Kansas -12. It's in Kansas too. So Jayhawks -12. We're all on it. Next up, Jay, this is about a little bit closer to home here. Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is a 10.5-point favorite. As we know, Western Kentucky breaking in a good amount of transfers. Jay, what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, this is Western Kentucky a -10.5 all day. And it's because Casey Keeler has left Sam Houston State. Defensive coordinator Skylar Cassidy goes to North Texas, takes a lot of that defense with him to North Texas. And Sam Houston State's hired to replace Casey Keeler as head coach, Phil Longo. We've kind of talked about it already.
Yeah.
Not high on him as a coaching hire here. I think this offense is going to struggle early on, and with all the pieces they've lost defensively. The other side of the coin, obviously, yes, Western Kentucky has brought in a lot, but Tyson Helton routinely brings in FCS transfers who have good numbers, along with their offensive coordinator. Shout out to Bailey Zappi, who did it first at Western Kentucky. This year, they're bringing in another kid from Texas in the FCS ranks, and Maverick McIver. Great name, by the way, from Abilene Christian. I think Western Kentucky rolls, and this one I think is going to be ugly. I think Western Kentucky blows them out.
Wow.
I think 10.5 is criminally low for what this line should be.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Phil Longo, before he went to Wisconsin, when he was with Ole Miss and North Carolina, he ran high stress, up tempo offenses. And you're absolutely right on the other side of the ball there. They're not replacing some of the defense. It's every starter went. They have to replace every single starter. So I do think you're on the right side of who's going to win this. But I just love points here. I think 60.5 over. I think this gets closer to like the 70s. I think both teams are just going to be slinging the rock up and down the field. So I like the over 60.5 here.
Ooh, I like that. I might tail that. I'm with Jay for all the reasons Jay was talking about. Western Kentucky -10.5. I think that's the safer bet. The only thing that scares me about your over bet, Joe, is if Western Kentucky just blows them out and Sam Houston can't get anything going on offense.
I think they will. I think they'll be able to move the ball. I mean, what's it, Watson? Right, Watson? Is that his last
For
name?
Sam Houston?
Yeah.
Hunter Watson, something like that.
Hunter Watson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to move the ball. I think, and no matter what, even if they get down, they know they're going to have to sling it. They're at least going to be trying. So, and hey, you never know. You get second team defenses out there because you're up by so many. We get some extra points at the end. We backdoor cover this thing.
Yeah. It is Hunter Watson, by the way.
Yeah.
It is Hunter Watson. And our last game of the evening. Now, Idaho State and UNLV also play. I think we expect UNLV to handle business, everybody.
UNLV should handle business. It'll be interesting to see, you know, I don't think that. I think there's going to be some adjustments for UNLV with them having to, have the new coach come in. It's going to be a new type of offense. There's a lot for UNLV to worry about. I don't think Idaho State is the game you worry about it in.
No. Jay, do you have any feel on how Idaho State's going to be this year? Because they were decent last year, right?
Yeah, and 2 years ago, I think they were really good.
They're real good.
I think it's going to be a good year for Idaho State, but there's some pieces in the Big Sky that are going to make it difficult. One of them, not to get completely off track, but we do have a fantastic FCS matchup between UC Davis and Mercer in Week 1. That game's being played in Montgomery, Alabama, of all places, as a neutral site. So that's a little bit weird, but if you're into FCS action, make sure to check out that game. It should be a fun one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Idaho State's probably going to be middle of the pack in the Big Sky, which, to be fair, middle of the pack in the Big Sky can still get you in the FCS playoffs.
Oh yeah, I knew a guy back in high school and a little bit in college. He's a defensive backs coach at Mercer right now, so I'll be rooting for the Tigers. Yeah.
Mercer's the Bears.
Bears. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tigers, Bears.
Tigers. Oh my. So yeah, I'll be rooting for Mercer. All right, our last FBS matchup for Week 0, Stanford at Hawaii. This line shifted. This was Stanford -2, and over the last 2 weeks, it has shifted to Hawaii -2. Now, I know, Joe, that never bet against Hawaii on the island is a myth. Yes. It is a myth. I just think Stanford's kind of really down. And I think they're not going to be good. Hawaii trending up under Timmy Chang. I think I like the Warriors in this one. But Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I alluded to this earlier when we were talking about the ACC. The bottom of the ACC is garbage, and that is where you are going to find Stanford this year. I think, would they win last year? I think 3 games last year, 3 games, 4 games the year before as well. Mm-hmm. They're in it, and what Stanford does is Stanford stinks for a long time, then gets Andrew Luck and peaks, and then stinks, right. And then they get another guy, and they're great for a year, and then they stink again. Right now, they're in the stink phase, and I don't think they're getting out of the stink phase this year. So I'm with you. I think Hawaii covers this. I'm shocked that they even opened up as favorites on the road. That to me is crazy.
Yeah, and the other piece of it is Frank Reich has the interim title. He's not the permanent head coach, so you don't really have much to build behind because you don't know if Reich is going to still be there next year. If you're trying to recruit, this is just a tough situation for Stanford to walk into Hawaii. Again, never bet against Hawaii on the island may be a myth, but in this case, first game of the season. Kind of a similar deal with Iowa State and Kansas State. Obviously, you're not going to a foreign country as much as, Alabama fans are worried about Tua Tagovailoa's ability to communicate with his teammates at Alabama. Hawaii is not a foreign country. It is part of the United States, and it will be a long trip over there. It's always tougher when you have those big games, big flights for your first game of the season. I just think it's a bad situation for Stanford.
Especially for an ACC school to come all the way from the Atlantic coast.
I know.
That's a lot. People don't talk enough about that,
The All Coast Conference, baby.
All right. So this is how we're going to end it here. Playoff predictions. So what we're going to do, we are going to go through, let's just go through the conferences here. And we'll start off with the independents here. We're all on the same page. Notre Dame.
Playoff team
is going to be a playoff team.
Notre Dame's getting
well, let's get this other one off the board too. ACC, Clemson. Are we all in? Are we all in on Clemson making it?
All in on Clemson.
All in on Clemson.
Anyone else from the ACC that we think are going to make the playoffs here?
So I think the only one is probably going to be Miami. But I feel like I think Miami can get there. They're going to need things to break their way. Any ACC school trying to get a second one in outside the conference championship, you're going to need a lot of things to break your way. I think Miami's going to be in the conversation. Miami is going to be this year's South Carolina, where they're going to be playing well. You're going to feel like they should make it in. There's going to be a case, and I don't know if they do, but if another one gets in, it's going to be Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't trust Mario Cristobal's game management enough. Like, I feel like they're going to drop some games they shouldn't, and that's going to keep them out of the conversation. I think there's less margin for error for them. So I'm sticking with Clemson as my only ACC team.
Yeah, and I think Miami's going to be on the outside looking in. I think they're going to drop a game where you're like where they're not supposed to. And here's the thing with Cristobal, because remember, he was like the hot hire coming out of Oregon. He's going back home. And the thing that's, I think, frustrating with Miami, it's not the fact that you're losing games, but you have talent everywhere, and you're playing it. I hate to say it, but you're playing in a conference that's a little bit easier to manage, and you're still on the outside looking in on the playoff.
And I don't think we've even talked about enough that they're replacing Cam Ward, who was an incredible player last year, with Carson Beck. Like, that's going to be a big step back on its own.
Yeah,
in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I don't think Carson Beck is bad. Okay, no. But he's not Cam Ward, and we saw Cam Ward put the team on his back and will them to wins in some of these close games. And is Carson Beck going to be able to do that?
Joe, you got something?
No, I was going to say that was the exact point. Is that the difference is Ward could carry you to a win. Beck is going to be more of he needs to be in the right position to win, and he can lead you to a win. He can't carry you there, if that makes sense. I feel like that.
Oh, that definitely makes sense. Yeah,
like
it does.
And I've got to make sure, all those knocks to the head that I may have my memory off. But Restrepo's last year at Miami was last year, right? Xavier Restrepo, the wide receiver.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
like he was there last year. Yeah. I don't think we talk about his impact enough either, because that's about as reliable as a receiver as you can have in that room, and to lose him is a big loss for Miami, in my opinion, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me just double check. I believe he is gone.
He's gone for sure, but I didn't know if
he was on that team. Yeah, he was on that team last year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one ACC team, I think, is going to be it. Now let's move over to the Big Ten, Joe and I's territory. I think it's going to be Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon. I think only three Big Ten teams are getting in.
Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, and Illinois.
Oh, really? Ooh. So here's my Illinois take. They're going to be good. I think some of these teams are going to have more young talent in their depth that are going to, when that second rotation on the defensive line comes in, I think that's what's going to kill Illinois. Yeah. And I think they're going to drop a game or two against a higher team like a Michigan or Washington, because their second or third teamers are going to just be more talented than them. And I think that's going to be the problem with Illinois. They're going to be good, but that's what worries me. And at Illinois, you're right. Hang on. They're over under, I believe,
7.5.
Was it 7.5? That scares the bejesus out of me, because I'm having West Virginia flashbacks from last year.
Yeah.
Like last year, West Virginia goes 9-3, and everyone's like, oh, hey, their win totals, 5.5. And dummies like me are like, take the cheese, take the cheese, take the cheese. And they don't make a bowl. I really don't want that to happen to Illinois this year.
I do think it's just going to end up being Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State that come out of the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. But if there is a fourth school, I think it's going to be Nebraska. And I think it's
with their time.
With what they have built, everything that they have coming back. And when you talk about schedule gods breaking their favor, I mean, at Penn State is a loss. Everything else on here, I mean, Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan at home, Michigan State at home, at Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, Iowa. Those are all winnable games.
Very winnable.
I think they'll end up being somewhere in that 9-3, 10-2. They're definitely going to finish the year ranked. I could see them fighting to get in. I think just at the end of the day, the issue is going to be the SEC is going to be such a tight pack at the top that I think the voters are going to have a hard time getting 4 Big Ten schools in.
So that leads me to my next point, and that is 3 Big Ten teams go in and 5 SEC teams I think are going to get in there, because I think towards that top you're going to have, I think you're going to have your Texas, your Georgia, and then I think Alabama are all going to be, 10-2, 11-1, or maybe one of them will go undefeated. And then I think it gets hairy, but LSU, I think, is going to sneak their way in over a Miami. And then here's my surprise team.
I know where you're going.
Jay already shaking his head. I'm telling you, I am in on Texas A&M. I am in. This is it. This is their time. Texas. Here's the thing with Texas. Texas might be undefeated or 11-1 going against A&M because it's in Austin, correct, Jay?
Yep.
And A&M on the road, because everyone's talking about, A&M can't win on the road. They can't win on the road. They can't win on the road. Wouldn't it be spectacular? Texas 11 wins, or say 10 wins, 10-1 going against A&M, and A&M beating them. Now they're both 10-2 going in together. Come on.
5 though?
I think the SEC gets 5 in.
I don't think they'll put 5 in, but we'll see.
5's too rich. I like your 4 though. The 4 I have going in are Texas, LSU, Georgia, Bama. I think if any one of them doesn't get in, I think it would actually end up being Georgia might not get in if they don't send 4. I just like the way everything breaks for Bama a little bit better, and I just think LSU is going to have enough of that talent, and Texas is possibly going to be 1 or 2.
So here's the thing, and this is I think what I'm trying to get to here. What if everyone in the SEC goes 10-2 and like only one of them goes 11-1?
Ugh,
And it's possible.
it's going to make for a really, really fun December.
And after Alabama was left out last year, that they're just itching. They're itching to just get 5 Southern teams in there.
Yeah. I don't know how the math works. I'm looking at the teams I have going in. I don't know who would drop. I guess it would be Miami.
It would kick Miami out.
They would have to move Miami out. Yeah.
Because Notre Dame, there's a chance I think Notre Dame beats the bejesus out of Miami, or at least beats them by like 2 scores. And that just disqualifies Miami. So now you're going to be looking at 10-2 everybody in the SEC versus 10-2 Miami. And they're going to be like, listen, Miami dropped the game and they got beat by 2 touchdowns by Notre Dame. Out.
Well, I guess I can give my 4 from the SEC.
Give it.
Alabama, Texas, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Is Beamer Ball back, Jay?
People are saying you get a mobile quarterback under a Beamer, magic happens.
They're going to be so much fun to watch this year. Like, just incredibly entertaining games.
You have a great receiving core.
Yeah.
Great receiving
The receivers are great. Like, if anything, if there's going to be something that's going to let that team down, it's going to be their defense.
Yep.
I think their offense is primed to be one of the best offenses in college football. Fun offense, if they can take care of the ball.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. So
I like if they get in. I love that Sellers Heisman 17-1 even more.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so the Big 12. I only have one Big 12 team getting in.
Yep.
But Joe, I'm interested to hear yours.
I'm sticking with Arizona State. I think Arizona State.
Okay.
I think Levitt takes them over the top for what they need to do to win that. That conference is going to be so much fun to watch. It has no chance of producing a national title contender. I don't think anybody from that conference can even make it to the Final Four, but they're going to beat each other up all year fighting for those spots. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
Jay?
Devin Dampier helps Utah rebound. I have the Utes winning the Big 12 and going to the playoff. I think this is going to be a big bounce year for Whittingham. He only has so many years left. I mean, we all know he's kind of winding down. Yeah. I feel like this team's going to have a fire under him after the way last season went, and I love the addition of Dampier at quarterback.
So I've been going back and forth all day, and I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to go with Arizona State again. I'm going to go Arizona State. Man, I think Baylor is going to be another team that's going to be on the outside looking in. The more I look at the Baylor Bears, since our Big 12 preview, the more I'm looking at them, the more I like them. And I know I was talking about Iowa State earlier in the year. Man, I think I like Baylor. I think I like Baylor more.
I mean, again, this is going to be the conference to watch if you just want crazy stuff happening every week. The parity here is just incredible. Big 12 football is going to be must-watch TV. Like, if you like college football, you will be watching this conference this year.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like, and we talked about this with Mac too, and this is no disrespect. They don't have a top-tier national title contender. I don't believe they have it. I don't believe that any of those teams have the horses to do it. But they have a bunch of teams who could get into the playoff and possibly make some noise. And I think they have a bunch of teams that are going to be duking it out to get that crown at the end. And I think it's going to be really fun.
Any one of the teams that wins the Big 12, if the schedule breaks and the playoff breaks, and any one of them gets Notre Dame in the first round, any one of those teams can beat Notre Dame. Because I think Notre Dame is one of those teams that they can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody any given weekend. Notre Dame, when I think of all the teams getting in the playoff, and Boise, those are the two teams that if they get in, they can beat one of them.
Yeah. Which leads us to the G5. And is it Boise?
It's Boise for me. Yeah.
It's Boise for me as well.
I don't see anybody else that's, I mean, maybe JMU. I want to say JMU. I love JMU. Yeah. No, I got a Duke in the other room here, but I think it's Boise. I think it's Boise's spot to lose.
Jay?
Yeah, I think it's Boise as well. I think if you're looking at any other conference to maybe supplant Boise, I think I'd look to the American and maybe like a Memphis or someone like that. Mm-hmm. But I feel pretty confident that Boise's going to have the G5 berth for the second straight year.
Especially if they play Notre Dame tough. Like, they don't even have to win. If Boise loses by 3 or by a touchdown, then you're thinking, hey, this team can play with anybody. Yeah. And they can. They're good. They're a good team, and like I said, I think they're going to be better next year. Joe, anything else you want to leave us with?
Final Four.
Oh, yeah.
Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Clemson.
Okay.
Championship. Oregon, Clemson. Clemson is your national champion.
There it is.
He did it.
There it is. One last thing. Who do you have winning the Big Ten?
Penn State.
Okay.
You guys invite me on here, and then you want to talk about all the teams I hate. This is a win-win for me because I bet on Penn State to win the conference. If they win, I win. And if they lose, I win. So
because you get to just
win-win for me.
I believe that's called emotional hedging in the business.
It is, and it works. And when we cut off of here, I'll tell you a little Penn State insight knowledge that I got about an upcoming recruit I'll tell you a little story off air. This is not for the men.
Oh,
sorry for the viewers.
sorry
sorry.
For the listeners.
Listen,
but
follow my newsletter, subscribe. Maybe I'll share it there. Who knows?
Yeah, there we go.
Find out.
Where can they find you, Joe? I mean, the listeners should know, but the new people.
Yes, on Twitter at Joey_props or at Joe Pops _. I have a newsletter going out every week. Once NFL gets here as well, you're going to get every Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday plays, leans, insight. I just dropped the ACC preview, the Big 12 preview, Big 10 preview drops tomorrow at 12:01 p.m. So by the time you listen to this, you're going to be a couple hours away from it. So link in the bio, subscribe. We ride. SEC preview comes out Thursday, and then Friday, the entire week 0 card drops, and we are off and running, boys.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Jay, let's land this plane.
Let's land this plane. Thank you again, Joe, for joining us on this episode. To all the listeners or viewers, if you're on YouTube, thank you all for tuning in. We can't do this without y'all's help. And it is with y'all's help, again, that we have secured our first sponsor. So make sure to go to BattleBets, download that in the App Store. Let them know that we sent you by selecting the Get Back Coach podcast as your refer in the ambassador section. Join our league. Again, maybe we'll have some prizes. Stay tuned for a little special, we'll call it a special event from the entire Apollo crew. We're not going to spoil it, but it could be some potentially very fun things happening in the football world with the Apollo gang. And rate us 5 stars, like, subscribe, follow us on social media, do all the things that help us grow as a podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, even you. And we'll see you next week.
Actually, Jay, we'll be seeing some people Wednesday or Thursday morning, depending on when they listen. We will be having quarterbacks coach and assistant athletic director from Lackawanna College, Josh Pardini, joining the show. So
Lackawanna College making the jump from junior college to D2.
Yes,
coming over to the PSAC. Which, by the way, preseason number 5 this year. Those Kutztown Golden Bears, baby. All right, this is the year. I saw somebody. I think it was college picks preview or something like that. Gave out his national champions, and he had Kutztown Division 2. I was like, no, we're getting the blood flowing.
Yeah.
Get your piss hot.
Right.
Absolutely love it. We, from all of us at the Get Back Coach, have a great week. Download Battle Bets, hit the ambassador.